Again, Obama has appointed this 10-member gubernatorial board. Bush started this. Again, seamless integration with Homeland Security. We pointed out when we were leaked the MIAC report, we were leaked a California report and a Missouri report. For some reason, the Missouri report got all the attention. Then we were leaked the federal report, where Homeland Security and Northcom are set up for the American people. We are seen as the enemy. We are the people that this is designed for, because the foreign banks taking over our country know what they're doing is criminal. And we pointed out that the earlier version of that same coded MIAC report, the same code number, had been issued in April of 2008, before Obama even got into office. So it was Bush's people doing that. But the neocons picked it up and spun it. So this governor's council was started by Bush. Obama expanded it with an executive order, has now seated it to, quote, work with the states to counter terrorism. And the governor that put out the first MIAC report, which is a mirror of the federal report, Governor Nixon is the head of that subsection of the governor's council for Homeland Security. And so we're going to be, again, breaking that down today. We have some excellent articles from last month that detail all this, but we now know who the governor's council is made up of. And again, we'll cover that next hour, exactly who these people are. Obama expands federal power over the states with executive order. Kurt Nimmo, Infowars.com. We have another key report here from Prison Planet. Paul Joseph Watson, PDD 51, a new executive order, give Obama dictator power. Last roadblocks to martial law United States eliminated. And we have the cybersecurity boss, again, resigning last year, saying the Pentagon is taking over the web. And then we get the secret treaty that Obama is saying he's going to sign with the UN. This is official news as of 3 months ago, but was only in a few newspapers, just massive import, but the average person doesn't even know, saying they do plan to ratchet down and shut down the web and make you have an ID to get on the web and track everything you're doing. China doesn't even make you have a web ID. They just filter and block most things with Microsoft technology that Bill Gates had put in there. Now, of course, it comes out with what we reported 5 years ago with our CIA source, Steele, Mr. Steele. We need to get him back on. And in that report that came out in the Washington Post on Wednesday, in fact, I've got it here in my stack, Google to enlist NSA to help it ward off cyber attacks. That's the spin. But 5 years ago, Google moved in with NASA at a research facility. They're putting in the control grids. Yahoo's involved. No one is involved as much as Microsoft in all of this as well. So we need to ask the question, as citizens, are we going to allow ourselves to become like China? Are we going to let this control grid be put in place to take over our society? That is a very important question to ask. And we'll be discussing it coming up in the next hour. Right now, we're joined by Damon Vickers of 9 Points Capital Partners. The website is www.nps. Again, that's www.npm.us. For some reason, I can't read that. www.npm.us. And, of course, he's a big pundit all over national television for major publications. Damon Vickers is one of the very few who has successfully navigated both bull and bear markets profitably over the last 25 years. His clients and investment partners have invested in a who's who of some of the best performing stocks of the last 2 decades, companies like Cisco Systems, Starbucks Coffee, and Amazon.com, to name a few. Damon called the top of the equities market in 2000 and in 2008 during the worst market year since 1987. One of his funds had a 63% returns. It says Damon's trend following approach allows him to embrace both up and down markets equally. Damon fluid investment styles resulted in him consistently being named one of the top money managers in the country. And again, he's with and heads up npm.us. I was having a dyslexic moment there. Damon, it's good to have you back on with us.
Hey, good to be with you as well, Alex. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody.
Where do you join us from today?
We're in the beautiful island of Kauai, out near Haina, and we've got a nice house here right on the ocean, and pretty nice day today.
Wish I was there. I've never gotten to go to Hawaii. I'm too busy here in the info bunker.
Oh, I know. Well, if you've been here about, I guess 3 weeks ago, we could have hung out with Julia Roberts and her kids. Apparently,
really?
She just bought the house next door.
Well, here, I'll name drop. Willie Nelson invited me, and he really did. He said, come out for a week and play dominoes and chess with him and Woody Harrelson in Maui. I think that's where he said.
Wow.
But unfortunately...
That would really be cool, Alex. That would be neat.
I'd be permanently stoned if I did that, though. I'd be forced to draw off the vaporizing hookah.
I know it. I could just imagine it. I know it. Yeah, I was sort of probably something we should talk about today. Actually, at some point, all the push for medical marijuana just keep everybody all doped up. Yeah.
Now, I may disagree with you on that because the government's pushing Ritalin, Prozac, all these really toxic things. I know people abuse marijuana, but I don't see marijuana as bad as alcohol. I guess you're against marijuana decriminalization?
No, I'm not. I don't think the government should probably actively preclude anybody from doing hardly anything. However, as a society, the medicating ourselves, whether it be through Paxil or Depakote or Aleve or smoking pot all day, is just really the wrong direction, I think, not only for individuals but as a nation. And it dulls the mind, it dulls the senses, and it does not allow, I would argue that excessive use of marijuana doesn't help a person really focus, really, and they're just kind of lazy and lethargic. And
now, I've seen a lot of zombie...
We've got a real problem with non-motivation in this country as it is in most of the Western nations. And so I think medicating with Paxil, Depakote, Aleve, and increasingly marijuana, I don't think really, or alcohol, doesn't really do anything to help us.
Well, I agree with you, and I do know a lot of zombie potheads, but I also know a lot of people that smoke it sparingly who are, great professionals. My issue is I don't want to pay to put them in prison, and I know the government and big banks have been caught controlling the drug trade and laundering the money for a long time.
Good. I definitely agree with that. They're putting people in prison because they drink too much alcohol or too much pot or whatever other adventures they may find themselves doing. I don't think that makes any sense either. I agree with that.
All right, Damon, the reason we've got you on today is because you are a very successful financial trends forecaster and expert. We want to pick your brain, and we're going to go to break here in a moment. We've got a few minutes here, so I want to go ahead and throw this out. We're seeing reports where they're talking about bankruptcy for the United States is now certain. We've got George Soros basically calling a plunge in gold last week. We have central banks going in, trying to prop up the dollar, drive down gold. Why? We have CNBC reporting market crash if U.S. policies continue. So we have all this volatility, stocks plunging yesterday. What is causing all of this, Damon Vickers?
Well, we've got a number of things going on. Critically, we started this off talking about marijuana, but how does that relate to the whole picture here? You've got a lot of the world, Alex, the United States, Western Europe, Greece, Portugal, Spain, the UK, the debt that is out there is just it's ginormous. And the ability to borrow money has delayed a lot of people pursuing jobs, let alone the 99 weeks of unemployment that people can now get under the Obama administration. So the issues right now are debt, a tremendous amount of debt in the planet, the lack of creation of jobs. It's looking like that in this latest downturn since 2007, we lost about 8.5 million jobs. This just came out from the Labor Department. The unemployment rate dipped a little bit today in the numbers that came out today, but it's still looking kind of dour. And a lot of those jobs, Alex, I don't think a lot of those jobs are ever going to come back. They're in industries that were overbuilt, like the construction industry, like the distribution of credit industry and the mortgage industry. I don't think those jobs are coming back for a long time, and I don't know what else those people can do. It has been hitting the gold market a little bit. However, the trend for gold is still up, even with this pullback. hard to endure, but it is. Should nations, we can talk about that, on whether or not that becomes a liquidation point to raise assets as a store of value, and that could happen. And really, it's the recovery of what? So really, it is about jobs. It is about jobs in the world and productivity and making Europeans and European nations on the planet productive people.
All right, stay there, Damon Vickers.
That's going to take a change in people's minds.
Stay there, got a break. He is the head of 9 Points Capital Partners. The website is nancypaulmary.us, npm.us. Our site's Infowars.com.